Beth Phoenix to clash with Maryse at Royal Rumble. Mandy Rose reverses Cora Jade's finisher roll-up to win the match. Mercedes Martinez debuts on AEW, and holy that street fight match on Rampage blew everyone's mind. Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell. This is DS and this is Women's Wrestling Weekly. Alright, let's go to first Raw of 2022. On Raw, we saw Becky Lynch come out to gloat about her win at day one. She was so deliciously heel here. I especially loved how she was really shitting on everyone's New Year's resolution and how she brought back her being a goat, with her being an art. Now she's the Vincent Van Goat. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then Liv Morgan came out with new theme song, very AJ Lee right now. Caitlyn spin the bottle. You know I love it. And she challenges Becky again, saying that she was this close to beating Becky Lynch and she knows it. And then EST Bianca Belair joins, saying that she took care of Doudrop and she's ready to be back to defeat Becky Lynch. And then we saw three of them brawl with Becky standing tall at the end. So many goodies here to work with. Bianca looked just fabulous, by the way. And I think this is really great because we love all three of them and there are so many great ways they can go heading into WrestleMania. So I will say satisfied. But adding to the mix is Doudrop. She crashes Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville's conversation and demands to be given an opportunity. And I'm like, you lost all your matches to Bianca Belair? I'm like, what are you even whining about? But she's super entertaining. I love listening to her talk. So triple threat match is booked next week for the #1 contendership match. And I'll be honest, I'm interested to see Doudrop go against Becky. You know, that seems kind of fresh. Becky has been doing kind of a similar stuff to both Bianca and Liv Morgan, but for Doudrop, I think she needs to have a different strategy. So I'll say satisfied. Now, next big segment was that we saw Maryse and Beth face off. So Maryse and Miz were talking, and I love The Miz. I love how The Miz is such a good husband who puts over Maryse as one of the longest Divas champion ever. That got Maryse to be super bold and say that she'd punch Beth right on her face. Cues the Glamazon's entrance music, and I gotta say, Beth and Edge looked so good. Especially the husband-wife Hall of Fame pose together was so epic. I really didn't expect how epic this would be. They look so great together. Back in the segment, Edge challenged Miz and Maryse for a mixed tag match at Royal Rumble, and the match is set up. Only thing I want to say about this segment is that I want Maryse to step up her game. She looks amazing, first of all. Like, her looks game is up there, but Beth is really bringing her A game into this with her facial expressions turned up to 10. But we all know Maryse is really the queen of charisma, right? And she honestly had no business being out charisma by Beth. And I know she's playing a cowardly heel, but WWE better acknowledge that Maryse is one of the most badass, most successful Divas champion ever. So the Grit couple versus the It couple, that match is here for Royal Rumble. I'm so excited about it. But Maryse, again, she better start showing how badass she is because I know she got it. Satisfied. Alright, so we saw 24/7 Championship mixed tag match, Tamina and Akira Tozawa versus Dana Brooke and Reggie. And I don't know why they're acting like Dana is a co-champion with Reggie. I hate it. I do, though, love Dana's new entrance. It was almost like a reverse Melina. The match was literally like 70 seconds, and then women were not even in the ring. And at the end, Tozawa accidentally kicks Tamina in the face, and then she doesn't even flinch. But you gotta know that nobody mean it to Tamina. And then she knocks out Tozawa with a punch or something. I know we can't complain too much about 24/7 Championship angle, but girl, Next, we saw Women's Tag Team Championship match, Zelina Vega and Carmella versus Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley. Zelina and Rhea's chemistry continues to be really, really good, and like their part was the best part of this match. But after that, Nikki tagged in, and then Nikki lost. And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to me, it was embarrassing to everyone, it was obviously embarrassing and frustrating to Rhea Ripley. She should have honestly just left Nikki and never looked back right there, but it hasn't happened yet. So the storyline has been stuck here at the same spot for like weeks. Girl, get it moving. But if you think about it, who can save Nikki? I'll say Alexa, because Alexa's journey back to Raw is announced. Yes, Alexa Bliss is coming back to Raw next week, and I wonder if she's gonna return as an angry Chucky again, or maybe she's gonna be super pure and super cute like her NXT days, which I won't be mad about. But I think what makes most sense for her is to come back and save the falling superhero Nikki ASH, or even turn her into a supervillain. That would be a really good one. Alright, let's go to NXT's New Year's Evil. So here we saw a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. This match didn't make the most sense going into it because, like, why is Mandy wanting to face both contenders at the same time? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I see Mandy wanting to face Cora, yeah, but Raquel, really? But anyway, Mandy comes in riding a helicopter, which was really epic and I really kind of liked. I kind of liked it even more than when Charlotte was riding a helicopter, only because she had that, like, really super close-up selfie promo and like, this is how the champion flies in style. And I'm just like, I love it. I love it! Also, I loved her feathery Victoria's Secret realness outfit. The match itself, though, was fine. It was a fine triple threat match. I think Raquel was really the one that was holding this match together with her usual power moves, and she looked great. And Cora, it seems like looking at her track record, she has her hit and misses. This night, she was on her game, so she actually has some really cool moves. I think it's really interesting that she's not just a usual underdog, but she's like an opportunistic, opportunity-seeking one. So the ending came when Raquel puts a Chingona bomb on Mandy Rose, but Cora does a diving senton on Raquel and about to seize the opportunity for Mandy, but Mandy's a veteran, so she reverses Cora Jade's finisher, roll up. So she reverses roll up and wins the match. So Cora Jade got to taste her own medicine. The part that I didn't understand was Raquel used kendo stick during the commercial break of all places. So when we came back from the commercial break, the crowd was like ecstatic and like super excited about this match, and I was like, okay, that was a choice. Would I say this is an NXT TakeOver level match? No, not at all. So, you know, I'll say meh. But we saw an interesting women's backstage segment after the Dusty Rhodes Classic for Men and Women were announced. We saw Amari Miller talking to Casey and Kaden backstage, and then Pergia Parada and Indy Hartwell challenged them to a 2-on-3 match where Indy's like, wait, why are we challenging them for a handicap match? So they're looking for like the partner backstage, and Tiffany Stratton, who debuted last week, was there. And then she was like, ew, no. Which, by the way, I loved her debut match. I think she has a great character, a familiar one, but I think her build stature gives like a little fresh take on it. But anyway, behind Tiffany, who just left, was Karen Q, who was sleeping a couple weeks ago. And she introduced herself as Wendy Chu, and it seems like she'll be joining in for the 3-on-3 tag match with Persia and Indy. I love it. I already love Wendy Chu so much. This character I completely 100% feel for every day of my life. And who knew Karen Q, of all people, would be the one who might be bringing the pillow fight back to WWE. It's amazing. I loved it. Super satisfied. Alright, let's go to AEW Dynamite. In Dynamite, we saw Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa in a semi-final to TBS Championship. What a fun match. I really had a great time watching this. This match took Jade to her max. It was one of the most, like the longest and most intense match that she's been in. I think it's the first time that she really told a story with the body part, and that's also thanks to veteran Thunder Rosa, who did absolutely amazing job helping create this really fun match with Jade. By the way, I loved her cosplay, the Wolverine cosplay, which was really cute. Unfortunately though, Jade's limitations as a more green talent were shown in this match, and I'm really curious how that's going to play and affect her performance with Ruby in the final match of the TBS tournament. But Ruby, again, is also very good at selling. It might work out perfectly with Jade Cargill, so it could go either way. I honestly don't see AEW giving up on Jade's undefeated streak yet, and she just looks and feels like a superstar. So if you ask me, I see Jade winning this TBS championship. At the end of the match, we saw a crew member come and attack Thunder Rosa, costing her the match, and it turns out it was Mercedes frickin' Martinez. Yes, Mercedes Martinez is here in AEW. So good to see Mercedes Martinez here. She's a great addition to this growing AEW women's division. But am I the only one that thought this debut angle was like weirdly paying homage to her previous roles in WWE? The hooded mask look made me think of Retribution, and her helping out Jade, who was a client of Mark Sterling. The whole situation kind of reminds me of Robert Stone brand. Either way, she got great reactions, and I hope it works out in AEW a lot better than WWE. Satisfied. And then we saw this random segment with Mandy Rose.
So you're a black belt? Well, I'm a black bitch. Let's go.
I watched it. I'm still confused what this was all about. So she basically confronted this Lambert dude who was insulting Rhodes' family and Brandy Rhodes as a stripper or whatever. And then Brandy Rhodes came out. She comes out with this famous quote now.
Who the hell told you tonight was open mic night?
She did a lot. She really did a lot. I don't know what it was. I'm confused. Impact Wrestling had the second week of the recap show, Best of 2021 Part 2. And there were some new backstage segment though. We saw an interaction between Inspiration and the Influence around a photo shoot. And then we saw Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering winning the Knockout Tag Team of the Year, so congratulations to them. Mercedes Martinez and Diana Purrazzo match was confirmed for Impact next week. And lastly, Su Yung consumed Kimberly and Brandy. At least that's what I think happened, to reveal that she is pregnant. Congratulations! What a badass reveal. It's almost like the opposite of what Becky Lynch did. That was like the most realism, and this part is like the most gimmicky of the gimmicky of the gimmicky. I love her dedication to the Su Yung character, and I'll say super satisfying. Alright, let's go to AEW Rampage, and on Rampage, we saw this street fight match between Penelope Ford and Bunny versus Anna Jay and Tay Conti, and oh my god, this match. This match was really something else. And the meaning of this match, you could like see these four people, the pretty faces, coming into this match with something to prove, and they sure did. Early in the match, by the way, the match was 8 minutes, so they really had to pack in a lot of stuff in there. But Penelope did a moonsault from the top rope to outside of the table, and then the table didn't break. To me, that almost symbolizes what they had to go through as wrestlers in AEW, because they need to try so hard to break the fans' misconceptions that they are just pretty faces. And yeah, one moonsault wouldn't break that, and they really went all out. So Penelope, after this spot, comes into the ring and breaks a glass bottle on Tay's head. And then we see Bunny suddenly like drenched in blood. Like, what happened? I mean, we obviously know that she was down there throughout this table and bottle spot that she was bleeding. And then we saw Tay Conti bleeding like hell. And I thought it was really funny and kind of awkward that they zoomed into Tay Conti bleeding from the middle of her forehead, and the commentary was like, bottle from the side of the head, and I was like, shut the hell up. You can clearly see that she bladed the middle of the forehead, so I'm like, you know, you're technically right, but please. Bunny bleeding was gruesome, and they went above and beyond with the weapons that women don't typically use in their matches, like thumbtacks and barbed wire, but that suplex into thumbtacks were crazy, and the finisher of Anna Jay that I don't particularly love looked hella vicious when she had barbed wires wrapped around her arm to finish the match on bleeding Bunny. It was really everything. Super satisfying. This match totally won my respect. And then the crowd was absolutely nuts about it. They're crazy. Just like how Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa really won over the fans and really won over the industry with their gruesome match. I think this got their respect from the fans and probably the industry with this match. So I think this is absolutely amazing. That said, I don't want this to be a pattern. As in, I don't want them to use gore and blood as their go-to way to put over a star. The only reason I'm saying this is because I think AEW still has a lot of room to grow when it comes to character development, good storyline, consistent booking. I think AEW is improving for sure, but I think there's still a lot more room for AEW to grow in. To be honest, like, I'm not sure this feud warranted such a violent match in the first place. This was a lot. This was really a lot. That being said, I again see so much future for AEW's women's division, obviously, as they're continuing to prove these women in AEW's women's division are absolutely talented. Huge props to all the effort and spectacular performance they showed on Rampage. Absolutely amazing. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tony Khan, the AEW president, who read Fightful Wrestling's headline on New Year's Eve on Big Swole's podcast episode on her departure from AEW that read, quote, Big Swole explains how lack of diversity and structure led to her leaving AEW. So he read the headline, probably did not read the article, and decided to tweet out this on New Year's Eve. The top two AEW executives are brown. Jade, Bowens, Caster, Dante, Nyla, Isaiah, Mark Queen all won on TV this month. The TBS title tournament has been very diverse. I let Swole's contract expire as I felt her wrestling wasn't good enough. And this put wrestling world into a total mayhem. And I felt the need to talk to Paloma about how we feel about this mess.
I think this was just a great opportunity for Tony Khan and AEW in general to sit back and actually listen.
Right.
As opposed to become defensive about it. I just felt like it was was very dismissive. Big Swole's comments come from somewhere, from her experience and how she felt. I think that seems so diminished. It doesn't seem like she's being seen or heard. And I think Tony Khan kind of missed the point of this conversation, of this tweet. Like, yo, calm down, dude. Nobody is attacking you. But unfortunately, he chose to take it this way as opposed to a learning experience to not only him, but for the whole company in general.
And the way he diminished Big Swole, and obviously brought all the hate on her, all the trolls basically just denying her experience as a person that worked in the company inside.
Yeah, that was actually there.
People were just like, oh, like, so she's sucky wrestler, so which is, first of all, not even true. I genuinely believe that she's very talented, very charismatic wrestler.
Super charismatic, for sure.
Great character.
Yes.
The bullying.
Yeah.
For days.
It was ridiculous. Seeing some of the stuff that she was being thrown her way was ridiculous and kind of like, this is what she's talking about, basically. Right. Like, even though it's not on TV, because of the lack of diversity in TV, I feel it makes people feel like it's okay to do this. Regardless of the situation, it's never okay to send any hate or like this to somebody you don't even know or you don't even know the situation. It was just kind of crazy to see how much backlash I got from it, from a person who was there, especially a woman of color who was there, experienced it firsthand. Who are you or who's anybody to say what she felt and what she dealt with as wrong or not right or not even valid enough.
Unfortunately, we see this happen a lot. With, especially women of color in the industry. I mean, we see this with Gail Kim all the time. Yeah. And then how, like, whenever she talks about her experience with WWE, why are people's first instinct is to just, it's false, and you're wrong, and you suck. Instead of like, well, maybe let's take time to understand where they're coming from.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of times now people have been calling people in instead of calling people out.
Right.
And kind of have a conversation to further the issue and expand and actually making a learning experience as opposed to like what is happening right now. And I think this was definitely, the ball was dropped on that, because I think if Tony Khan would have had a more positive reaction to that, it'd be like, oh, we hear her and we're doing everything that we can to make a AEW better workplace. Literally anything else, I think she would have not gotten as much backlash. But I feel like almost that tweet unfortunately kind of let the floodgates open to like, all right, have at it.
I just have to point out the irony that AEW has so many heroes that spoke against WWE, Jon Moxley, CM Punk, male wrestlers.
Like 80% of their locker room.
They're a hero for speaking out. But then when Big Swole does this, it is not okay.
Exactly. And also imagine if it was a different company. If she was talking this about WWE, like I feel like more people would be behind it. But I feel like AEW, so many fans jump on it because it's not WWE that they could do no wrong in their eyes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of like putting the blinders on doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it that it's not happening. So I just wish this would have been treated better from so many aspects of it. But I really hope that if 2021 has showed us anything, is that people can make a bad situation into a great one. And I really hope that Big Swole, whatever she wants to do, whether it be in ring, outside of the ring, anything is, I hope she turns this into a positive, because she's so talented. I'm so glad she said something about it. Because sometimes saying something about it, being the first to say something about it is hard and scary, and then all of this happens, and this is why people don't say what they think and what they feel and what the experiences are. But I'm hoping for the best for Big Swole, and I know she'll land on her feet.
Take time to either read the article or listen to the podcast, because she actually spent a lot of time like praising what Tony Khan did and the family-oriented backstage atmosphere. So it was not like
it's not like she just went on like a tirade and shitting on AEW at all.
Yes.
But people are so easily to just go on a tirade and shit on the person who said this.
Yes, so please take your time to listen to it. Alright, thank you so much for watching this week's review. You can find me at DSShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Bye!